Hey everybody, I'm Scott.
Hello, and I'm Andy, and welcome to the Tin Timbits podcast.
Global perspectives on business development to help you prosper. We're going to talk about something that I know we disagree about. We're going to talk about conferences and trade shows and how that can help your business. We'll get into it. But before we do, how was your week, Andy? What's on your mind from reflecting on how your week's gone?
No, it's been an interesting week actually. I've had some positive experiences, and one of those I'd like to share.
Please do.
It's an experience I had with I would say sales calls, but it's more the discovery element within the sales call that I found particularly compelling. And this was a guy at a company that I was doing some work with, and the way that he had structured his agenda, his sales meeting, and he'd shared it with the with the prospect up front. It was a prospect. It was someone he hadn't met before, but he was still bold enough to say, "This is what I want to talk about. These are the key things I want to address." And then,
as you should.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
People don't. This is the thing. People don't do that. They go, "Oh yeah, we'll have a meeting. Right, it's locked in. Good, I'll see you there." And then they don't talk again until it's actually ready. And then. So he shared that up front, but then of course I had the pleasure of being able to join him on the actual meeting as well. And then in the meeting, he reintroduced the agenda, he reintroduced the structure, he double checked if there was anything that they wanted to talk about, and there was. And that then came up, and he then proceeded to ask them questions, to be genuinely curious, as we've talked about before. But he was really demonstrating the right way of doing things, and I was like, he just made it look so easy. And it was very simple, very straightforward. And I don't know why people find it so difficult to just follow this process, because when you witness this actually taking place, that someone has listened to what you've said and they've actually implementing it, it's just so refreshing. And you could see the prospect was genuinely interested and genuinely, this was a business conversation. This wasn't a salesperson and a prospect. Nobody felt under any pressure. He didn't feel under any pressure to sell, and they didn't feel under any pressure that he was trying to sell them. It was just very straightforward business discussion at a professional level, and it was really nice to see and witness. And the lesson to me is that to really reinforce this is something that everyone should be doing.
So that was an observed behavior that you thought, I like the way that went. I like that. I've been in situations where that has happened, and either the person leading the meeting doesn't check in with the room and forgets to ask if other people have anything else or a different outcome or a different expectation. So I like that. That's kind of what you mentioned. But then I've also seen that kind of go the wrong way, where you stop too much, or you ask for input and clarity, and then you just wait until there's this dead silence. And I know that that's kind of a tactic, and it gives people the space and comfort to settle in. But sometimes I'm like, just give people the permission to contribute if they want, but you don't have to. I don't know. I've been told that that's actually a good thing, but sometimes it makes me feel.
No, but I think I think allowing the space and the silence to to settle, but not as a pressure tactic. I mean, that's
right.
I mean,
I guess that's the point.
People like normal people, and that's the thing. And I think there are too many sales trainers and coaches out there who try and convince people that it's all about convincing and persuading and tricking people. But unless you're in certain industries, that's well, I don't think it's okay in any industry, but there are certain industries who really adopt that approach, and I'm driving a car because of it. So
yeah, there you go. All right, let's move on to the topic. I said off the top that this is one that there might be a bit controversial. We don't necessarily sort of align on our opinions about this. So let me sort of state my hypothesis, and I will first of all admit that with your help, I am working to get better at this.
Okay.
So our topic is conferences and trade shows, and I am kind of cold on this whole strategy and this plan. It's a lot of work. it's a lot of cost. There's usually travel involved, and you have some fun, but it never turns into new business, or there's never a return on investment. Doing events and conferences, like the classic, like show up and exhibit and have a trade show booth, is not worth it.
And I'm very sorry that you feel that way, and that those are the experiences that you've had. I, as you know, have very much the opposite opinion, both in terms of attending these events and conferences, but also in terms of exhibiting and presenting at them. Because in my experience, and with multiple companies in various industries, I have found if you have the right approach and the right structure and the right planning ahead, during and after, there is no better way to reach a focused.
There is no better way. Did you all hear that?
No better way to reach that audience in a personal level, in a personal way that's going to generate future business and future opportunities.
Okay, but turn it into something. Like, I've done this, and I've gone to shows, and I've had wonderful conversations, and I've met some very good, engaging, smart people, and then we all go home. The end.
Yeah, and that's where it falls down.
So help me.
Yeah. So what I have found that works really, really well, and I will continue to do it because I really love these things and I think they're fantastic, and I get most of my business from these places.
I think you just like going to events. Okay, keep going.
I do. I love going to events. I like meeting people. I like spending time.
I mean, so do I.
It's great. Yeah. But you've got to plan. It's really important with the planning ahead of these events. You've got to start reaching out to your network and understanding who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. Competition that's going to be there. What are the competition doing? What are the things that you can bring as value? How can you do it differently? Whether your booth is a desk and a chair and a logo, or whether it is a big stand in the middle, it does not matter. Your process ahead of that trade show is very important. Your strategy, your communication, your plan for the sales team, the marketing team, the customer service team, and anyone else who's involved must be very clear. And you must encourage customers, potential customers, and so on to go. And it can't just be a line in your email signature. It needs to be structured. It needs to be part of your strategy for a period of time up to those events.
Okay, so I could imagine that there's an event and it's in our city, or maybe not, but I could get some of my customers, clients to go, and then I'm there with them at the same time, and I'm spending some quality time, and I'm strengthening that relationship. That's I can concede that point, that there's value there. But why wouldn't I just go and spend less effort and probably less cost and have a one-on-one conversation, sit them down, have a lunch, have a meeting, and get the same benefit?
Yeah, the reality is that
I really need to be brought around to this.
No, it's a fair point, but it's from a realistic perspective, the amount of time, effort, and cost that you would spend to get to the meetings with these people, to travel to them, and to build those relationships, and build the relationships in a way that you can in a somewhat neutral environment, versus having a formal meeting or a formal lunch that is structured. When you have those one-on-one meetings, there is a feeling that there's a reason that you're doing it, that there's, you're going to sell me something, or, you're doing this for that specific purpose of building this relationship. What is the real value in having this? Right. Whereas if it's a trade show that's relevant to them and to their industry, they're likely to be going anyway. So they're not going to mind spending, 20 minutes with you to have a drink or a bite to eat, or actually have a business conversation about their business, about what you're doing, because it's relevant to them. And you can have multiple meetings at that event. It's a neutral environment. It's safe. They can go and talk to your competitors as well, and they can compare notes and so on. And if you've done your research, you can actually be very prepared for what they're likely to experience in that and set them up for that. But the good thing is for you, it's a safe environment for you. It's a safe environment for your customers, and so long as your follow up is there as well after the event, then you can actually turn it into something a lot more valuable than a one-on-one meeting.
So, can you share an example of going to an event and what your strategy was specifically before, during, and after that event?
I can give multiple ones of those because I do it quite a lot. But we can, yeah. I mean, I'll stick to being very generic, but of course, the further ahead of time that you can plan for these events, the better. But sometimes you will find that, if you're in a particular industry with a large company, you will be going to multiple events throughout the year, and you can't then have just one campaign that you then roll out back to back. You've got multiple events coming up, you've got multiple campaigns that are going on, and you've got to reach out to these customers in these areas and attract the right people to these events as well.
So so if I've got this right, a big part of your prep is reaching out to prospects and clients to say, yes, I'm going to be at this event, and I hope to see you there, or you should be there too?
No, the opposite way around, actually. It's a case of understanding the market, what's happening in the market, and bringing something of value. Just come to this event and come and see us. So what? It doesn't matter. If they're going to the event, then they might come and see you anyway. But what's important is that you're bringing value to them, and you're reminding them of this value that you're bringing to them, and then you use the trade show as part of that. And so you're providing content to them and information to them that helps them in their business on an ongoing basis anyway. You should be doing that, whether it's a prospect or whether it's an existing customer.
They would come and get this value from me at my trade show booth.
Well, what you'll do is you will typically have something specific of value. You'll have a bit of a teaser campaign that's leading up to that, but come to the booth and you'll find out a little bit more about that particular thing.
So this is like a demo business of my system or
whatever. Yeah, exactly. It depends very much on your business, on your industry, but there needs to be a hook. There needs to be something of interest and something of value, and that something of value can be a conversation. But that conversation needs to be something that's relevant to them, and it's going to bring something to them that's going to add value to their business, and it's going to help them to be more successful in the future. And it's got to be something that they can only get by coming to that trade show and meeting you there.
Okay. All right. And then I think I get the at-event strategy. That makes sense to me. So then everybody comes and they're kind of using it as an excuse to blow off work for a while, and they're not really, actually care what they learn there. How do you, but they showed some interest and whatnot. So what's the after event strategy?
Well, the key is as well, throughout the event, if you're having specific conversations with someone, is to send them a message during the event straight away, follow up on it. Follow up on the discussions that you've had. The worst thing that you can do is go, meet someone on the Monday, and then the following Monday you send a follow up going, oh yeah, we met at this trade show. It was nice to meet you. These are the things we talked about.
I like that.
They've met hundreds of people. So do it the same day. They may not read it the same day, but it will be there, and they'll see, oh, this person followed up. This person was interested. This person actually did what they said they were going to do.
Right.
Which gives you credibility over most of your competition straight away anyway. Then after the event, you follow up again, and you then go, at the event, we had this conversation, we talked about this, we shared this piece of information with you, or you were looking for this piece of information. Here is a follow up on this, and then having that as well, but not stopping there. There needs to be a plan as well of an ongoing conversation to keep them on board, keep the hook going, keep the relevance to that. And then as you slowly transition away from the end of that last event, you then start to build the momentum up for the next event, or for the next and that can be
because you do this all the time.
Exactly. So you do it all the time. You just keep it going, and you keep the momentum going. And then they just become, you become part of that event life cycle for them, and so they actually look forward to meeting you at the next event, and it becomes almost a habit in a way that they want to be at the next event because they want to hear the next piece of information that you've got. They want to meet you in person again, they want to see you again, and maybe you don't see them in between, but you're constantly having that communication with them and keeping them in
all right. So I like I like that. And now you've got me thinking, so yes, I think that, don't wait and stack up all your follow-ups and then send it through your marketing automation system after the fact. Do it personal, do it in the moment, do it right at the trade show. And then you have me thinking, well, why not nurture that prospect and book a meeting and book like a follow-up, not just an email, but actually, okay, well, you seem interested. I don't want to get into too much of it right now because you got lots coming at you and you're here to also have some fun. So how about next Wednesday at 2 p.m. and we'll book a Zoom, or I'll come by your office and we'll see if there's anything further that, interests you at that point.
Exactly. Fantastic. Yeah. That's the ultimate goal, of course, is to get those one-on-one meetings where you can try and have that opportunity to secure their business and take their relationship further forward.
All right. You might have me there. I'll have to think of some events that I can use to practice this. I do go to events that I find valuable to connect with, vendors and other partners in our industry. I find that those events are very carefully selected by me because there is a lot of professional development kind of content at those events, but I go to them. They're very intimate. They're smaller events, and so maybe I just need to sort of turn that around and look at how, for me, that kind of is something that I can even foster and host, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right.
All right. Well, thank you for illuminating me, Andy. Much appreciated. If that, I guess for everybody listening, I'd be curious, what kind of success you think you can have. Think about whether or not events are part of your strategy. Think about the right way to do them. Think about whether or not you're doing the right kind of prep and research and strategizing before the event. Think about what you're going to do at the event. Take Andy's advice and turn it into action during the event. Don't just throw it all into your CRM and your marketing automation system after the fact. These are very high touch moments. So leverage that to the best that you can.
Oh, very good. Very good. I agree completely, Scott. And just a quick one, as we're moving into the Christmas season now, this is something that people can start to consider for their Christmas lunches with the clients and arranging smaller events and so on. And of course, as we move into the new year, we start to see the events kicking off again. So how
many holiday events are already in your calendar, Andy?
Too many.
Yeah, my wife and I are comparing. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Nope. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, everybody. Well, if you want to find us, please do. tandtimbits.com. You can subscribe. You can link to. You can find us through many channels at tandtimbits.com. And we'll see you on the next show. Cheers.
Thanks very much, everyone.